Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Douglas Luiz has been put up for sale for 50 million. Villa want to avoid FFP before the end of June, and Arsenal and Juventus are the two close runners for that deal. We're going to talk about Douglas Luiz and the 50 million deal. I think it's a very good deal if Arsenal really think he is the one. We'll talk about Aaron Ramsdale. Newcastle are saying it's too expensive, and Arsenal are saying in this summer he could actually go on loan. Are you whining me? Are you really trying to piss me off? Aaron Ramsdale is yet to go on a loan deal this summer if no significant offers actually arrive. That is absolutely ridiculous. But we'll talk about that. Benjamin Sesko, this is going to annoy you. According to Alex Goldberg, Benjamin Sesko is not Arsenal's number one priority at centre forward, and at the moment Chelsea are pushing harder to sign Benjamin Sesko, not Arsenal. We'll get into that. And Gabriel Jesus as well is not going to have a knee surgery this summer. Now, of course, he wants to have a full preseason with the club, but we have been told he's not going to have a knee operation like it was suggested before the end of the campaign. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Lots of things going on around this transfer frenzy crazy period. And like I said, I'll be bringing you the latest around the club, so sit down, just relax. I want your thoughts there in the comment box below. About Douglas Luiz, first and foremost, 50 million. But also, do you think that Arsenal, don't have Benjamin Sesko as their priority? The other priorities, or the players that could be priority, are Ivan Ferguson at Brighton and Victor Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon. Those are the two players that have been reportedly monitored by Arsenal, ahead of Benjamin Sesko. So I want your thoughts on those two, because it is absolutely crazy right about now. Now, let's get into it. First and foremost, Douglas Luiz, right? So it's been reported that Douglas Luiz has been put up for sale by Aston Villa. 50 million is what they're asking for. Villa want to avoid FFP. Obviously, recently, a couple of clubs were released by the Premier League that have to sell or have to make some money before the end of June in order to avoid financial fair play repercussions. Those clubs included Newcastle. They include a certain Aston Villa. They include a certain Leicester City and a couple of other clubs. I think Nottingham Forest are also part of that list. So what Villa have here is a difficult situation. When you look at inside their squad, there are very many players they could sell. The question is, how many of those players really have genuine interest from the Premier League, from Premier League clubs, or even outside the Premier League? The players they could actually think about selling for good money is Douglas Luiz. They could think about selling Oli Watkins, which I think is not an option. They could think about selling Diaby, that's not an option, or selling the likes of Leon Bailey. So I look at the Douglas Luiz deal as a very doable one if Arsenal are seriously considering buying him this summer. 50 million, in terms of the price, I don't think 50 million is bad money. I don't think it's a bad price for a player like Douglas Luiz. Premier League proven. He's been at Man City. His education is exactly what Mikel Arteta is looking for. Someone who can do a bit of laundry in that midfield, be a little bit physical, spread the balls, spread the passes around. Last night, he was actually playing for Brazil. I didn't watch that game. I'm just going to go and rewatch it. I'm always asleep when CONCACAF games are going on and Copa America games are going on. I don't have that time to, always watch CONCACAF and Copa America. But he was in that Brazil team without Bruno Guimaraes. And that tells you that in at Brazil, he's settled in as a number 6. They see him as a defensive midfielder. When he comes to Arsenal, I think his defensive midfield role is actually going to be elevated even better. Because at Aston Villa, they played him alongside Boubacar Kamara. Now, what you have in Boubacar Kamara, obviously, is a Thomas Partey-like guy. Is a number 6, a deep physical player that allows Douglas Luiz to go and be on the ball a little bit more, create at times, and even score a couple of goals like we saw at the beginning of last campaign. But when he comes into Arsenal, I think he can help us control games. I think he can help us control the ball a little bit better. His ability to take care of the ball is insane for a player of his age. Obviously, he's at his prime at 26. I think he's his physicality is okay for the league, and his ball intelligence is also okay for a club like Arsenal. I like him. I'm not going to lie about Douglas Luiz. I like him. I'm not even going to say one single thing that is negative about him. Okay, let's talk about the negative side about Douglas Luiz. I know that's what you're waiting for. So with Douglas Luiz, the negative thing about him is when you lose possession and the team is the team is trying to win the ball back, he's not the best defensive midfielder to win you the ball back. So he's not a Partey, he's not a Guimaraes, he's not a Boubacar Kamara, he's not which other DM do we talk about? Edson Alvarez at formerly at Ajax, now at West Ham. He's not that kind of DM that you trust he's going to bully someone off the ball. Like, you know, he doesn't have the ball winning abilities of Partey and Declan Rice. But him playing alongside Declan Rice in that kind of double pivot would actually allow Declan Rice's ball winning abilities to be showcased very much in games, and then the ability for Douglas Luiz to control games and spray passes all over the field will also be, you know, showcased as well. So I think it would be a very good combination. But Rice wins the ball back very well, and you know that Luiz takes care of the ball very, very well. So I would love to see this one happen. Juventus and Arsenal both really, really big on him. I don't know what's wrong with Juventus, but they always seem to either get in our way. Vlahovic, Locatelli, Luiz, and when we want to sign a player from there, a deal never happens. Like you think about Rabiot. Actually, when we wanted Rabiot from France, he went to Juventus as well. But when we want to sign the likes of Vidal, you know, from there, the deals just don't happen. I mean, we just don't get players from Juventus, and they always, you know, stand in our way. But for this one, I think Arsenal can actually edge Juventus because of UEFA Champions League. Arsenal do have, I think Juve have too, but because Arsenal have a better project at the moment, I see Luiz going to Arsenal over Juve. But listen, of course there is this: Villa might not want to sell to Arsenal because they think Arsenal are their near rivals. If Villa think that we are their rivals for this, you know, for any reason, right, or we are competition for them, they're absolutely crazy. We are title contenders, and the best they can do next season is top 5. So for me, I see Douglas Luiz move to Arsenal over Juventus if it is really confirmed and serious that Villa are looking for 50 million. I don't think Arsenal will pay 50. I think we will try to negotiate it down, right? I think we'll try to negotiate it down, but 50 million for me, I would pay right away for Douglas Luiz. Now, let's talk about Ramsdale, right? With the Douglas Luiz story, I'm really, really happy. Fabrizio came out and said this in December, that Arsenal look at Douglas Luiz as their primary priority target for midfield. He's a profile they like. He's a player they really, really consider, you know, top target. Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal are saying, if a club doesn't give them significant money, they are not selling. They're actually going to send him on loan. That is where I'm not happy with this one. That is where I'm absolutely not happy with this one. So Newcastle have been the front runners on this deal, but they have eventually decided that they will walk away and go and try to sign James Trafford for around 15 million. Burnley asking for something more than that, probably 20. You know, I don't know how much they're gonna ask for. I would definitely take Trafford at Arsenal. But Ramsdale, Arsenal are saying that if they don't get a good deal for Aaron Ramsdale, they're actually going to send him out on loan, and then he will come back next summer and we will find a solution. I don't know why I don't believe in Arsenal loan deals. It wouldn't really be bad because it would give him some game time, obviously. It would allow him to be a starter somewhere, and clubs will look at him and he would put in good performances. And it would be even better if he's loaned out to a club like Crystal Palace, if he's loaned out to a club that is not going to concede as many goals, and a club where his impact is actually going to be noticed. Like Burnley went to Fulham. In his first season, trust me, his impact was 100% noticed. So when I think about Ramsdale going out on loan, I'm like, it's not a bad deal, right? It's not a bad deal. But I don't trust Arsenal loan deals. Honestly, I don't trust our loan deals. They are not good. Like, when have we ever sent out a player on loan and they've come back and we got real good money out of them. Florian Balogun, Saliba, because for Saliba, again, his value rose exponentially, although he's playing in the side now. I think those are the two. Like, Charlie Patino's loan deals failed. Kieran Tierney, trash. The loan deal for Hector Bellerin, that we don't want to talk about that. I just think that Arsenal should do whatever they can to either keep Ramsdale at Arsenal if we cannot sell him, or we should do whatever it takes to sell him this summer. A loan deal must come with an obligation to buy. A loan deal must come with heavy conditions. For us to give you a Ramsdale, one of the best... I don't know how clubs are saying Ramsdale is too expensive for them. How? The likes of Robert Sanchez, one of the worst goalkeepers that I've seen in the Premier League. He's gone to Chelsea for good money, like really, really good money. And someone says that Ramsdale is too expensive. Are we joking? Like, is it a joke? Is it some kind of joke? Or is someone trying to whine us? So for me, what Arsenal shouldn't do is do a dry loan deal. That is going to be disastrous. He might go out there, not play football, and then, it even gets worse. If he cannot play for a title-winning side like Arsenal, what if he goes to a club like Burnley and he doesn't play? What if he goes to a club like Leicester City and he doesn't play? That is going to be even more disastrous. So I would say we need to do whatever we can to sell him this summer. We need to do whatever, use whatever strategy there is to sell him this summer. Otherwise, we might not like it. Honestly, we might not like it. But of course, tell me what you think about the Ramsdale, the Ramsdale situation. Benjamin Sesko is not Arsenal's first choice, according to Alex Goldberg, and Chelsea are pushing harder to sign Sesko this summer. If my morning could not get worse, it just got worse. Like, I'm shooting this in the morning. It might come out in the afternoon, but I'm shooting this in the morning. And you can hear my voice. It is not yet, it's not yet okay. And then one funny account just breaks this news. The Arsenal don't have Benjamin Sesko as first choice. They like him, they appreciate him, but they don't have him as first choice. And therefore, Chelsea are the ones pushing harder to sign him, not Arsenal. Are you whining me? Like, are we really doing this kind of not funny jokes because I don't like them? If these are unfunny jokes, honestly, I don't like them. So the reports also say that Arsenal have two players ahead of Benjamin Sesko, and those two are Ivan Ferguson at Brighton, my boy, and Victor Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon, my guy. When I think about those two, I'm happy. I'll take Ivan Ferguson 100 days. How many? 100 days, I think, like, those are 3 months. Over Sesko. I would take Gyökeres for a full year over Sesko. Like, when I compare Sesko to Ivan Ferguson, there are things I like about Ivan Ferguson's game, and I don't see them in Benjamin Sesko's game. Like, Ivan Ferguson is a bully of a center forward. When I talk about bullies as center forward, that boy is a bully, and he's just 19, 20. He's a bully over his center forward play. My goodness, how is he not German? How is he not Spanish? Because if he was Spanish, I'm telling you, Morata, you're out of that starting 11. Goodbye. Sorry, you can retire. Ivan Ferguson must be Spanish, because that is the nation that is lacking in a center forward right now. Like, for me, I'll take him over Benjamin Sesko. I'm not going to lie. Now, he's not one of the strikers that have scored many goals. So you're going to say, oh, Cossy, he scored 2 goals last season. He scored a hat-trick the other season, and the season ended. He's still very young. But I'll take him because of the center-forward aspects he's got in his game. And I think he would thrive at Arsenal. With Victor Gyökeres, we don't have to say much. Clean. He's a clean striker. If it is true that Arsenal really want a centre forward who is not Benjamin Sesko, and that centre forward is either Ivan Ferguson or Victor Gyökeres, I'm okay with that. But if it is not true, and Arsenal are just losing out on the Benjamin Sesko deal, and then we are going to get a funny striker, this is not a good morning. It's not a good morning. Now, Gabriel Jesus is not going to have a knee operation. It was suggested during the season that he might have a knee operation to help relieve the pain in his knee. But it looks like there's going to be other procedures to help him overcome the pain in the knee. He's not going to actually have another operation because he's had, I think, 2 or 3 minor surgeries and I think a major surgery in that knee area. So he's not going to have another operation this summer. We expect him to be back in full training for Arsenal during preseason. Okay, so basically this morning, that's what's roaming around the club. I'll give you an update later on as well. We are very close to 80,000 subscribers. We are like 900 away. Can you imagine? Like we are 900. Are we 900 or we are 900, right? We are 900. We are 900. We are 900 subscribers away. So hit that subscribe button. Speak to you right in the next one.